All right, so this is the 12 steps of the Alcohol Anonymous backwards. So, what steps do they reflect? And this is applicable to the narcissistic addiction. It's really, a chemical, physical addiction, and the addiction, as is the addiction to the narcissist. So, you had to be vulnerable to emotionally to let a predator to have a relationship with a predator. So that is the foundation. Step one, you felt alone and overwhelmed by life. Absolutely. And so that is the ground, the bedrock that you will attract somebody who thinks that you can become addicted to them in order to control them, in order to feed off of you. So you came to believe that, replace alcohol and drugs, that the narcissist, the man or woman, could fix everything. That's what they sold them as. That's what you sold yourself as, which is the important point, right? Everybody will sell themselves and zero downside. You had to sell yourself on them as well, and you wanted to. So this other person was going to fix your feeling of alone and overwhelmed by life. Unwittingly, you turned your life over to the narcissist and flawed thinking. So they are all putting up a front. The flawed thinking is buying that false front when your gut says something different. Avoided like the plague any moral inventory of my attitudes. So you avoided your own internal distinctions and differentiations, your own internal discernment of the narcissistic behavior until a certain point where it's too much for you or they discarded you and now you have to take inventory of it. Refuse to admit to anyone or anything there's inherently wrong with your relationship choices. So there may have been people along the line that have warned you about this person and you did not want to discuss it with them. You may have alienated that person that were giving that warning. And then one day they proved to be right, including yourself. Claimed entitlement as a victim with few shortcomings. So, whether you want to blame the external situation or the narcissist itself, um, you have to hold yourself accountable for your initial relationship choices as well as your ongoing um, attachment to somebody who's toxic. Believed other people, institutions should cater to my needs. I don't know how that applies, but may be relevant here. Kept a mental list of resentments against anyone who didn't. So this is the buildup of negative time. And so, again, depending on how the narcissist wore you down, you supported a false, a lot of times negative self. So then again, there's going to be a sustained evaluation in a narcissistic relationship. You bought the golden period, you bought the seduction, you bought the reduction, which is the process of enslavement, and you brought the slavery to whatever extent. Avoided imagine rebutting and talking shit about jerks on that list. Again, I'm sure there were people that intervened in that relationship, warned you about it, or even your own dispositions and distinctions, and you did not want to entertain that because you so wanted to buy the illusion so badly. Continue to trust my flawed thinking and repeat my mistakes. So you kept along. The empath will stay in this purgatory hell cycle, hell loop, um, until they're kicked out or until they can't take it anymore. And again, you have to take account for your willingness to stay and be punished. What is that? Privately rehash grudges, licked wounds, and fantasize about triumphs. I mean, do you fantasize about the golden period of the narcissist that you had? You know, how the good times. Well, I mean, they were fake. They were somebody presenting a front. So that wasn't real. That wasn't nutrition. That was sugar. If you're ruminating on wounds, what use is that? Disheartened as a result of all these steps, I increased my dependence on the narcissist and sought solace among people equally as lost. So, yeah, you're seeking relief in somebody who's a mirror of your own dysfunction. Um, so, that is something to be considerate about, but it is an addiction like anything. There's a withdrawal period, and then, I mean, if you have to treat it like recovery and withdrawal. My name is XYZ. I have been no contact with my narc for 3 months. And keep track of that, celebrate that, get support on that no contact policy. That is the only way that you break down this process and avoid it repeating it. Thanks for listening.